Welcome back to another episode of Drivers4Drivers. I'm Ken Cox, and I got a haircut.
You did get a haircut.
Not the beard, though.
Yeah.
Today we've got Ken. Oh, he's still out. We've got Francis Sam.
Hi.
Behind the scenes, we've got Danny.
Hello.
And we are Drivers4Drivers. Hey, we didn't mess that up.
Oh. Hey, when was the last time how old is that beard?
Man, last time I shaved it off, I was in Alaska, which you wouldn't want to shave your beard off in Alaska. It's cold up there.
Yeah.
Everyone saw my double and triple chin. So I was like, I can't have this. I was getting ready to do law enforcement up there. And I had to shave it off for the interviews.
Sure.
So that would have been back in right before 18, middle of 2018.
Yeah, I can't imagine Francis without a mustache.
Yeah.
Can't imagine Kenny without his goatee. Like, it's just...
You know, in the mid-'80s, I had a beard, and I shaved it off, and I just about got eaten by my Doberman. I didn't even think about it. We had our dog, Lou. We lived in an apartment back then, and I was working that day and just sweating, and I was hot, and it's like, this thing's got to go. So I come home, and I go into the bathroom, and I shaved my beard off. And I come walking out, and I made the bend in the hallway, and the dog looks at me, and I could say, "Oh, doesn't look right." And that dog come after me, so I had to go back into the bathroom, close the door, and kind of peek behind the door. I was like, I at that point I realized what had happened. He only seen me with a beard. You never seen me without one. So I was like, "Who is this guy?"
I love those videos that you see of parents who, like, the dad will shave, and then he goes to say hi to his kids, and they start screaming and like, ah!
Yeah, that's right.
So last episode, we had Marla and we had Mandy on, and they kind of explained to us what adoptive family is. We've got another family we're going to talk about just a little bit today.
So an update.
They'll
update us.
Yeah. We'll go into a safety topic, and I want to talk about SMS scores. So we've got another family that we've adopted from Rainbow Gold, and I'm not going to put their names out there just yet. But he was diagnosed with B-cell ALL at 3.5 years old.
So is that a blood cancer, or what is that?
I believe so.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
And so December of 14, he finished treatment. And in February of 18, just shy of 7 years old, he earned the nickname Ginger Fury from all the steroids he had to take. He's literally the strongest kid his mother knows. But she might be a little biased.
Yeah.
This past February, this young man hit 5-year post-treatment milestone.
Yes.
And at 12 years old, he exemplifies strength and resilience through unwavering positivity. This family attends Camp Rainbow Gold yearly. They've been doing that since 2019, and ever since it's been one of his favorite places to go every year. So, with the donations coming in and the match that Giltner does, we're going to be able to bring some joy to this family and help them out with a little bit of stuff this holiday season.
That's great. That's absolutely fantastic.
I never thought about how helpful somebody who's a survivor of cancer is to somebody who's in the process of going through treatment. Mm-hmm. So that's cool that he attends every year, and just kind of, I think, brings hope to those other kids who are still going through stuff.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic.
Yep.
So I want to know about SMS scores.
You want to know about SMS scores?
Yeah, what is an SMS score?
So when we started this, once a month, the SMS scores come out. There's a lot that goes into this SMS score, and why is it important for you guys out there, and why is it important for you guys to know, and how we're doing. So I want to dive into that just a little bit on that. SMS is one of our KPIs.
It is.
It's a key performance indicator. So when our salesmen go out there and they're talking to the customers, the first thing they look at is the SMS scores, because they want to know if you're safe. It used to be years and years and years ago that as long as you could get from point A to point B, didn't matter if you had 4 wheels, 18 wheels, or 62 wheels. As long as you got there and you were delivering, it didn't matter.
When we go in and we talk to a customer, and they review them as well. It's not like a one-time thing. They're always going back and reviewing safety scores. But when we talk to them and we do like a carrier packet and stuff with them, they get our SCAT code and then they run it and who are we? And then from there, it looks at our safety record and how are we as opposed to our competition when it comes to safety. Just like we are, their number one concern is safety as well. So they've got two parts that they're looking at with us. One is how safe are we as a motor carrier? We're hauling their product, and they want to make sure that their product makes it to its destination safely. And then, food safety wise, we pull reefer trailers. So if it's a frozen load or a refrigerated load or a freeze protect type load, then they want to make sure that their product is treated correctly, in the trailer as well. So safety is a huge, huge thing. And as long as we fall within the guidelines, and they're pretty tight, on what the customer's requesting of a carrier, then they'll extend to us an opportunity to haul for them. If you had a real terrible safety score, chances are they're not going to give you an opportunity.
Right. So what does that mean for you as the driver? I mean, it bottom line, it hurts your pocket. If our safety scores go way up and then we can no longer use this customer, we no longer have that load. So now we're back to load boards or whatever to find, to get you moved around.
And a high safety score means that we have high incidences, right?
Right. And it's not just necessarily incidents as well, because you've got like unsafe driving, which is tickets, hour service violations, vehicle maintenance violations, out of service violations. And all of those get a 1, get a 2, get a 3, depending on the severity of it. And so it's super important that we're doing our pre-trips, right? That we're not getting tickets, that we're following the rules of the road. Pre-trips. That will save you 99% of the time.
Yeah, and an SMS score is not just something that the company has. The driver carries that as well. So, anytime there's an issue or something that pops up, it will affect their personal score at the same time. So,
who is assigning these SMS scores? Is that's not something you guys go out with your clipboards and look at trailers and stuff? How are these SMS scores? And I'm sure the drivers already know this. It's just kind of nice for me to know. I was wondering.
Sure. So you get pulled into a DOT station, right? You're gonna get weighed. If your lucky number just came up, you're gonna go get an inspection, and anything they find on that inspection, they're gonna it's a violation, and all those violations will accumulate. And then they're put on to our SMS score. Also, if you go out and get in an accident and get ticketed, if you're being pulled over for speeding or maybe have a radar detector in your truck, which you're not supposed to have, you're going to get a ticket for that, and that's also going to be a ding on the SMS score.
Yeah. Okay. Now it's a two-way street, though, Danny, because if you go in and you have violations, well, then that will negatively affect your SMS score. But if you go in for an inspection and you get a clean inspection and everything's good, you've done a good pre-trip, your truck's in good shape, everything's there and no issues, then that'll improve your SMS scores.
SMS score will go down, you'll get a little cash in your pocket, and go down the road safer, right?
How important is, do we check individual driver SMS scores when we are thinking about hiring?
It's part of the background checks that we do, and we go in there and we look at that. And so I'll dive into what our scores are now. So the threshold is 65% on these three that I'm pulling up.
And what do you mean by threshold?
The threshold. So if we're over 65% in one of these categories, that dings the DOT. You get up there for a while, then they're going to start doing audits. So then they bring the DOT in, they sit down with Marla and the other safety, and they go through every bit of paperwork that we have. But I mean, if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, they're going to shut you down, close the doors, and you're not going to be able to roll down the road, right? Okay. So that's why it's super important. So one of the categories, I pick on 3, and I added a 4th one in here because I think it was important. But unsafe driving, hours of service, vehicle maintenance, and then out of service. So unsafe, we've got 29. We were at 29, and we went to 33. Okay, that's usually parking tickets, speeding tickets, that kind of stuff. Hours of service, obviously, that's your e-log, 49 to 56. So we're kind of trending upward a little bit, and we don't want to see that. We want to be coming down. Vehicle maintenance, 28 to 33. So again, we're trending upwards a little bit. I mean, these scores are not absolutely horrible at all. We're well below that 65%, but we can do better.
Yep.
Right. And then we had one out of service, I think 2 months ago.
What is an out of service?
So you got pulled into the DOT station. There was something something really wrong with
That
your
they had to
truck,
pull 'em.
that they're like, nope, we can't have you on the road. You are out of service until this is fixed.
Oh, okay.
And that is expensive because now you've got to have whatever it is. If it's brakes,
Yeah.
you've got to have a mobile service come out. And they're gonna charge you a few $100 just to come out. They're gonna charge you, and especially like after hours brake service, like it's gonna be thousands and thousands of dollars to get your brakes done. So that's where pre-trip comes in and why it's so important.
Yep.
So yeah, just keep SMS on your mind. Once a month, we're going to be coming out and saying, hey, these are our SMS scores. Let's, are we improving? Are we not improving? What can we do together as a team to make this, better so we can put more money into our pockets?
Yep.
I like that our show is a reminder to look at some things that you might forget. So I like that you bring up the SMS scores, that we look at those at least once a month or once a quarter. I can't remember how often
it is a minimum of monthly, if
Yeah.
not a couple times.
And I like that because a lot of time, I don't think anybody, especially our drivers, nobody's neglecting something on purpose. They're not like, hey, they're not poor drivers. These guys are all very professional guys and gals, really professional.
Yep.
So a lot of times it's just getting into that flow and forgetting, oh man, it's been a while since I've checked this.
And Danny, our drivers look at the main things every day. Lights and reflectors and tires and the things that you can see all the time. But there's sometimes underneath, say on your trailer axles, you may have two airlines and they may be just barely rubbing each other, but then they start chafing and getting flat spots. And that is, that could be an out of service, issue.
So speaking of SMS scores and pre-trips, what's your safety?
So, when we talk safety, a lot of times we talk about vehicles, we talk about weather, we talk about things of that nature. Very seldom do we talk about our cargo. And I kind of want to talk about that a little bit today. So, we haul a variety of products. Our drivers are hauling produce, they'll haul combo bins, they'll haul boxes, just a number of different things. And when we look at combos, and Danny, so just so you know, a combo is a large cardboard bin that usually sits on a pallet, and they'll put bulk product inside of it. So it may be bulk chicken, it may be bulk beef, it may be something like that, but it's one box on a pallet. And those things can slide rather easily on a pallet. So, if you get to your destination and one of those things is slidden off the pallet, chances are you're going to have a claim against you. Boxes that are stacked up, usually they're shrunk wrapped, to the pallet. But any kind of quick movements on the road or something like that can cause those things to start leaning. And then once the boxes lean, then they have a tendency to collapse on one side. And then now you've got a pallet that has to be totally restacked and could be another claim as well. So I think when you're leaving a loading point, wherever you've loaded, your origin of your load, make sure you got load locks in place. Understand what your load is, and know how you're going to have to drive with that load. These folks that are running up and down the road with a bulk liquid tanker, some of those things have baffles and some of them don't. And you can really see it when they come up to like a traffic light or something next to you. And you look over and you'll see them in the cab and they're getting thrown back and forth as that load is moving. And so everything we haul is a little bit different. Just really understand your load, what it is, and then take whatever safety precautions you have to make sure that load makes it to its destination in good shape.
For sure. So if you ever come to the issue that some of our customers, we can back up to the door, they open the door from the inside, they'll load it up, they'll close the doors from the inside, and they'll lock it, and off you go. So you don't know how it's loaded, and you don't know, if they've put load locks in there or not. All of our trailers do have that inspection door in the back, though. You'll open up that inspection door, grab your flashlight, and look, and make sure those load locks are there. Yep. If those load locks aren't there, tell that customer, like, hey, I need these load locks here. Or
are those provided by the customer?
No, we provide the load locks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's in every trailer?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
You should have a minimum of 2.
Okay.
And I always recommend that you've got some on your truck as well, because they break, they
So that's a
misplaced.
pre-trip thing.
It's not part of the pre-trip checklist, but it is something that you would want to look for.
Yeah, for sure.
During your pre-trips, you want to open up those doors if you can and make sure that everything's in there and nothing's broken. BMW CLS, broken, missing, worn, cleanliness, lubrication, and spring tension. That's an Air Force term that I had a long time ago when we were doing weapons function checks and stuff like that.
You said that pretty good. I like it.
I like that.
That was, if there's anything that's still in there from that time, that's a BMW CLS for whatever reason. I don't know. I picked up on that.
Good job, soldier.
Well, thank you, sir. I kind of want to talk about TAT. Danny, what's TAT?
Truckers
Almost.
trafficking
Close.
Against truckers against trafficking.
There you go. Perfect. Okay. So recently we sat down. There was a driver who works on the west side of the state, was going up Highway 12, and this is where their route takes them. They go all the way up Highway 12, deliver, and come back. It's a day and a half route for them. Sometimes they get up there, the road's crappy, whatever. And he's going along, and there's a stretch of road. I mean, it's just really, really mountainous, lots of trees, lots of woods around. And he's going, and he can see in the opposite lane there's a young lady with her head shaved, just stumbling down the road. Very minimal clothes, like this isn't normal. So some of the training that he went through, he noticed right away, like, hey, this isn't right. So he automatically knew. He listened to his intuition, and he didn't have cell phone service. But he's been driving that highway for quite a long time that he knew there was a call box a few miles away. So we got to that call box and said, hey, there's a young lady that's on the road. She's distressed. We need somebody out here right now. There's nothing else he could do at that point. He went and finished his route, and then he gets a phone call a little bit later like, hey, we really want to thank you for making that phone call. That young lady had been stolen, had been taken, kidnapped when she was, that was a few years prior. And that area is a dumping station. So she was drugged up, her head was shaved, she was dropped off in the middle of the woods. She just happened to have made it onto the highway, and this young man was able to, make the correct action. So part of that, I mean, he was awarded a few awards, and that's not why people do it, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
He was given the ITA gave him the Highway Hero Award, and then he was also given the Harriet Tubman Award. And part of that is the goal is to recognize those whose actions helped recover the exploited, improve the lives of victims, or prevent human trafficking and or sexual exploitation from taking place.
Yep.
So keep your eyes and ears open, and if you see something, say something.
Yep.
It's funny because I can't tell you how many times I'll drive by something and think, oh, there's a lot of people on the road. They're seeing it too. They'll make the call. And I don't, that could have been him, driving, think, I don't have to be the one that makes this call. I'm sure somebody's going to call.
Follow your intuition.
Absolutely.
Right? Listen to that small little voice in the back of your head.
So at Giltner, are we partners with Truckers Against Trafficking?
We are.
Mm-hmm.
We are part of TAT, and if you'll look on the back of our semis, on our trailers, you'll see big stickers back there that's TAT, and it's something that we are hold near and dear to our hearts, and something that we help combat. Yep. Idaho is huge. It's a lot larger problem than people think.
Yeah, we've got such a big open space that a lot of things can happen unnoticed if we let them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
I was going to ask if somebody's watching, if the drivers are watching and they want to get more involved in TAT, is there anything?
Yes.
So
they can get a hold of me, and I will get them in the right direction. And also get a hold. You can go to look up Truckers Against Trafficking online, and that route. And if you need or want any information on that, get a hold of me. Let me know.
Yep. I think Marla would be a good resource there as well.
Absolutely. Yep.
I do want to add one more thing. And I was talking to Ken about it because I couldn't really remember exactly what it was. And we did a little research in here today on what to look out for. Let's say that a person was abducted, or let's say they were in harm's way, like something is not good, something's not right, and they need help. Sometimes they can verbally say that, hey, I need help. Other times they can't, and the reason they can't is for their personal safety, right? If they were to say something, they could really put themselves in danger. So there is a universal hand signal.
Yes.
And what did we find on that? How does that work?
So the universal hand signal is the palm out towards you. They'll put their thumb in and then close their fingers over their thumb. So it could be if a young lady or young man is sitting there and he's waving at you, hey, how you doing? And they do this and then put their arm away, you know something's not right.
Yeah.
So again, that's palm facing, thumb in, fingers over the thumb.
Francis, you had shown one that you said that your wife had shown you that she had heard about. I don't think it would hurt to show that signal as well, and then just be aware that if you're seeing somebody doing something, they're making eye contact with you, and there's something that they're doing with their hand, or something that look, try to read those signs. But what was the one that?
So she was saying like in a passing motor vehicle or something, somebody's going by and they make eye contact with you,
Yeah.
right? And when they make eye contact with you, they put their hand on their neck like that and then pull it back down. It's a sign of, hey, I need help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, it doesn't mean you have to ram the car off the road.
Yeah,
but
just make a phone call.
Make a phone call.
Yeah, that's right. I want to thank everybody for everything that you're doing. We're in a tough time of the year. Weather's changing on us. We got freezing conditions. We've got ice. We've got snow. Be careful. Be careful in what you're doing. Anticipate your route. Leave early if you have to. Give yourself ample time to get where you need to be, and just be safe out there.
Fantastic. We talked about Adopt a Family. We're still taking donations for that. So if you still want to donate $1, $5, clothes, whatever it may be, we still are accepting that. We talked about SMS scores, safety, and TAT. So as we close this, we want to thank you for doing the right thing. If you see something, say something. You're our eyes and ears on the road. And thanks for making the better move.
See you guys.
See ya.
Bye.